Number 56, Caroline DeMesquita.
So a common question I get a lot is, Caroline, I just competed at the show, I got my judges' feedback, should I do another show or keep competing this year? And to tell you the truth, a lot of situations you see women doing this. They will go from one show to the next show to the next show, and unfortunately we start to see issues metabolically, hormonally, gut health decline, personal life decline. So how do you know if it's okay for you to keep competing in the same year and season, or do you need to take some time off and focus on different areas in your life? So, caveat to this, I've done both. I have taken a year where I went back to back to back. I did 3 shows, 3 weekends in a row, and this was in 2020 for wellness. And full transparency, my feedback every time was, your physique looks great, come in tighter. And because I was placing in the top 5, I kept doing it, and I kept competing, and I kept showing up. And so, for me, at that time, it made sense to keep hitting shows. However, in hindsight, now that I know, my body metabolically suffered quite a bit from doing that. And you won't know this right off the bat, especially if you're newer in the sport, or, you know, in training, and not being fully in tune with your body to know when something's off. But this year, I prepped for one show and knew that I was going to need to take time off and hit this one show, and if I did really well, great. If not, move on with my life. So how do you know if you're in that type of situation? Well, moral of the story is, you're gonna have to evaluate your priorities in your life. Is competing number one? Probably shouldn't for most people, but if you're an amateur or a pro level, you need to know what are your boundaries, what are your priorities, what is your financial situation, what's your home life like? Are your family, friends, husband, wife supportive of where you're going in this sport and how far you're going to take things in a certain season? Because we all know when you diet down super hard, not only does it affect you on the physical level, but it affects you on the psychological level. So you gotta really take into account, yeah, you might place well. The judges say, come in more conditioned, come in tighter. Okay, how many girls did you compete against? How big was the show that you placed at, or went to? And depending on those factors, what are the odds that you're going to, number one, show up as the next best version of yourself within a certain amount of time? And are you going to be able to recover and grow? A lot of times we can't grow in a deficit. So that's another piece to take into account, is if the feedback is you need to grow a body part, you probably should just take time off. And that's what I did in 2020 when I ended up hitting that second national show at Pittsburgh, and the feedback was, great physique, but your glutes just weren't big enough today. Welcome to wellness. Your glutes can never be big enough. You know, ladies, you gotta take care of yourself. Your relationship, your health, hormones, that all goes into play. So what can you do when it comes to these different factors? So if you know that you're gonna take show to show and try and go for a pro card, or you're trying to qualify for the Olympia, whatever area in your life you're at, your squad, your support group, they have to understand that. And you have to have boundaries set with them for them to support you, as well as you to support them in a certain way, or to show up in a certain way. I know firsthand how difficult it can be to maintain a healthy relationship with someone when you're prepping. You're tired, you're cranky, your emotions are all over the place, you have zero libido, you get agitated very quickly, and all these factors will affect a relationship, whether it's a friendship or it's a sexual relationship. So you gotta be clear and transparent and communicate. And a lot of couples, whether they're both competitors or just one's a competitor, it's really difficult to do. really difficult to be successful together. So no matter if you compete or not, this is a good takeaway that you need to support your partner in their endeavors so that you can succeed as a couple. So I know, like in my relationship with David, he's been working his tail off, growing his coaching business while working a full-time job while I've been prepping. Can you talk about what's stressful on a couple? All of the above. And trying to maintain, you know, even some type of balance with going on date nights or just reaching out and flirting to each other, like, it's hard. So you gotta take that into account and consideration. Now, the next piece, which I think is ultimately the most important and critical piece, is the hormone balance. So no matter what diet you're on, no matter what drugs you're on, those do have an effect on your health, mentally, your gut health, thyroid, liver, hormones, cortisol, your adrenal glands, everything. And I've done videos on how the systems are connected as well. So if you start to prep and things aren't working, and I just posted about this, how for me, I knew something wasn't working, that's when it was kind of like a red flag, but I kept doing it anyways because I was already in the depths of the prep. I was already halfway through it. So do you back out or you keep going? It's really hard because you invest so much time and energy, and you don't want to give up on yourself, and you don't want to give up on your followers, but you need to know what's your ultimate, what's your highest goal. And for me, living a healthy, balanced lifestyle and being able to get pregnant one day and being able to maintain a healthy marriage and relationships and friendships, that is more important. Granted, yes, competing, it can help people get more clients, which is why you see so many of these pros doing shows back to back to back, because they're getting paid from sponsors, they're getting affiliates, and because they look lean all the time, they're doing photo shoots so that they can get more clientele. I get it. Marketing. You have to be your best self to market. But that's what a lot of people don't see, is some of these girls that get super lean. And I see it's mostly with women. Like, there's guys that do shows periodically, but you see it more commonly with women getting issues because they're hitting shows back to back to back, that from a psychological standpoint, they're getting run down and they aren't feeling like themselves. They feel like they're just a body, and their true self are separated. And no one ever wants to feel that. So what do? A few things. There's some supplementation you can add in. Adaptogens is number one. You need to take care of your adrenal glands, which is number two. And all in all, like, you gotta find a balance of the stress management. So when you're prepping, we already know that we've heightened our stress from the training, from the cardio. Then you add in the extreme diet, then you add in any performance enhancers. Those four things are just the base. And then whatever stress you have in your life, so whether it's work, whether it's your relationship, whether it's family members, whether it's finances, all that starts to stack up. And so if you can't mentally and stay organized and prepare for that, and when you go through the preps and through the shows, be able to handle that all, you just gotta be really careful. I was actually talking to a girlfriend who I competed with a couple weeks ago, and her coach was emphasizing for her to do another show later in the season. And she's like, I don't wanna do it because I don't feel good. Right now, coming out of this show, my body isn't cooperating. And I told her, I was like, you already know what you wanna do, so you need to tell the coach that. And that's the biggest issue I have in the sport, is there's so many coaches, not just athletes, but coaches pushing their athletes to keep hitting shows and keep competing, because that's their moneymaker. They want to look good getting you on stage. And if that's how your coach is and they don't have your health in mind and they don't understand your life situation, number one, make sure you're communicating your goals, your life situation. But number two, if they aren't hearing you, that's a red flag from a coaching perspective. So I hope this is beneficial, and you know, right now I've been taking some time off social media because of this. I'm trying to get my life basically put back together and focusing on the priorities. For me, I'm really trying to focus on what are my biggest gifts I can give to the world, and is it going to be through one-on-one coaching? Is it going to be through group coaching? Am I going to put together some type of one-off courses? I'm going to do this Feminine Health Enhanced webinar, which I've gotten a lot of great feedback from. So that's my baby right now that I'm working on. But what else? What are the things that I can do? And granted, I'm not like most people. 29 years old. I've been competing 5 years. I'm young in the sport, but I'm actually older in the sport from a maturity standpoint and from a physiological standpoint. Most athletes you're seeing that are in their prime are in their mid-20s and have been training for a more length of time than I have. So just a little bit of my perspectives today and some of the things I'm seeing, and I want to help prevent women going down the path of thinking they have to keep competing, when in reality you can maintain a healthy body in an off-season, enjoy training again, enjoy eating a balanced diet, get your hormones and your health, and make sure you get your blood work, which I talk about several times. So all in all, you need to put you first, and you need to put your priorities at the center of where your energy is going. So make sure you like, comment anything that really resonated with you or things you want me to talk more about. Subscribe or share with a friend, and I always appreciate y'all and your support.